All right. Good afternoon, everybody. So that's who we are. I think there's pictures of us on a slide eventually, right there. So I'm Nalin Advani, and I'll be moderating the conversation between the three of us. These are two very amazing gentlemen. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves to you. But as our MC said, you know, we feel sometimes that the Middle East is somewhere far. It's not part of our day-to-day lives. But actually, the connectivity, the interconnectivity that we have, both into the region, and we'll also talk a little bit about the African continent, I think, because that's a whole other space that we think is really distant, but it's closer than we have imagined. And I think the two gentlemen here will also help us navigate that a little bit. So, Mahmod, can I ask you to say a little bit about yourself first?
Thank you, Nalin. Hello and good afternoon, Fukuoka. Good to see you all here. Myself, Mahmod, I'm all the way from Dubai. It's a beautiful prefecture of Kyushu and amazing city of Fukuoka. I work for the Kanoo Group. It's a family-owned business, over 135 years into the business. Verticals from shipping, travel and tourism, oil and gas, energy, investments, etc. So that's pretty much about it. And yeah, very happy to be here.
Thanks, Mahmod. And Filmon, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Filmon Ghebrihiwet. I'm the CIO of a single-family office in Dubai. We invest globally into funds as well as directly into companies, from early stage to buyouts to listed equities. We've been very active in technology, and that's one of the main reasons I'm here today as well, to understand more about the Japanese ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you, Filmon. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm Nalin Advani. I'm Singapore and Japan-based. I have a couple different hats, but I guess today I'm here in the capacity as an early-stage investor in startups, including several Japanese startups. And a little bit of what we're going to talk about is, like I said, access to capital from the GCC for startups here in Japan, right? I think the two gentlemen here really have a keen sense of how they can guide us to access that capital, and also how they guide us to access markets as well. So Mahmoud, I think you've spent some time here in Japan, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your observations, success stories, frustrations, opportunities?
That's a very good question. I don't know how I'm going to wrap it up in 2 minutes. It's a beautiful country. I was in Tokyo back in 2004. There were no Keitai Denwa. So yeah, I'm from that time, you know. No cell phones. I had to learn the language. There was no way around. There was no Google Translate. So yes, that can be frustrating. But guess what? There's always a bright side to it. And for me, it was quick learning of the language, because I had no choice, and I learned the language. That was my beautiful experience. And I learned the culture. It's amazing culture. It's very different than Middle East, from everything, from top to toe, from the food, dresses, weather. First time in my life, at 23rd year of my life, I saw the snow for the first time. So that was it. So yeah, a lot of greenery. That's my experience, first experience and first memories of beautiful Japan.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to frustrations and opportunities, because I'm sure you discovered both. So we'll kind of put a pause on that one, but I think we would like to uncover that. Filmon, you've been here before?
No, it's the first time.
First observations, what are you seeing?
Much bigger tech ecosystem than I expected. Super intrigued and interested in, pleasantly surprised as well from some of the companies that I'm seeing here. The support that the city is giving as well to the technology ecosystem. You don't see that very often globally. I think Dubai is a great place where that has happened before as well. That has worked out very well for the tech ecosystem in Dubai. And I'm very happy to see that here in Fukuoka as well.
So an observation I'll share, taking a cue from that. Japan has a population of 123 million people. It's a big enough market. You could just be a startup founder in Japan, grow a business, be successful, and be satisfied with the Japanese market. You could deploy, you can get access to capital that's being deployed here in Japan. And actually, the ecosystem here is quite complete. As you walk through this hallway, you see the panels on both sides. Those are universities here in Kyushu, several universities, as well as OIST from Okinawa. So there's labs, they're generating ideas, and then the local ecosystems are funding them, the local markets are expanding them. And actually, you could be just perfectly happy being here. Could you tell us a little bit why Japanese founders should be looking outside Japan for both capital and markets?
It's a good question. I think it depends on each company and every entrepreneur by itself, right? But I think from a scalability perspective, it makes a lot of sense to look at other regions as well, including the Middle East. Middle East, in terms of business, is a market that likes to work with companies from all over the world. If you look at most of the family offices in the Middle East, that's how they've generated wealth, right? By partnering up predominantly with Western companies many, many, many years ago. Representing them, helping them grow across the region, the multiple countries that we have. And that has worked very well. So for even an American company, European company, it's very difficult to operate by itself in the Middle East, to understand the market. And that would be the same for Japanese companies. And I think it would benefit both parties, and I think we'll touch upon it later on, but it benefits both parties. From a Japan perspective, obviously it's another market that you can expand to. From the Middle East perspective as well, there's a lot of innovation that's happening here that we could benefit a lot from in the UAE, or where I live, or in Saudi for that matter as well.
Mahmod, anything that you would like to share on that?
Yes, absolutely. You are 100%, on the you spot on infrastructure is there, the developments are there, and it's not been there just recently. Everything is built, and it's been built and past maybe 20, 30 years odd. Why would the companies need to venture out? It's 130, 140 million odd, but then again, there's different demographics on the age side. It's an aging population, and should these companies be unicorn at a faster pace, it's very imperative for them to venture into Middle East. Now, one has to understand the GCC. I'm going to focus more on the GCC, Nalin, if you allow me. It's a very rich, concentrated market with a lot of money at very concentrated place. So, yes, it's a huge opportunity for the companies to expand exponentially at a very fast rate. And should Japanese startups and the companies would want to venture into the GCC, within the region of 3 hours to 4 hour flight, you would have access to about 2 billion people. We have India, China, Eastern Africa. So that's always a place. And this is the reason we are here. And Ramen Tech is a beautiful place and opportunity for the companies to provide bridge for Fukuoka, the companies, the startups of Fukuoka, venture into the Middle East and GCC in particular.
Can I add something? I think it's a very good question. And again, like I said in the beginning, it depends on each company and every entrepreneur. If you look at a market like China, this is where what they're facing now, right? So a lot of the Chinese tech companies were looking inwards and focused completely on China. Now they've reached at a level where it's becoming super competitive internally. If you look at the EV space or the AI space, whatever it is, they have to look outside, right? Because the market inside is just too competitive for them. The margins have deteriorated over the years. I'm not saying Japan will reach that level, or maybe they won't. If you as an entrepreneur, I think, are more comfortable working in a market with 132 million people, I think you should stay put and focus on Japan and put all your eggs in that basket. I don't see a risk from that perspective. Even if you compare Japan with the whole GCC, I mean, the GCC altogether, we're probably about, 40 million people, right? Still not even half of what Japan is. So it all depends how competitive your market is and how comfortable you are as an entrepreneur to expand into other regions as well.
So a couple of things we're taking out of this, right? One is the aging demographics of Japan. The second is depends on which sector you're in, right? And I'm going to come back to this one in a second. The third is where I want to go next, which is access to capital, right? But if we look at that second point, which segments are the ones that you feel a startup from Japan has more opportunity in GCC and perhaps beyond? In other words, are we looking at logistics? Are we looking at shipping? Are we looking at manufacturing? Are we looking at, retail tech? What segments do you feel are the ones that might want to look outside Japan and into GCC area?
Sure, I'm happy to take that.
Mahmod, just one more thing. Their company has done joint ventures with Japanese companies as well. So it's not just about ideas, it's actually about taking these companies to the market. Sorry, over to you.
Absolutely. So we have done a joint ventures with the giants from Japan. So the companies that I would be definitely looking into are into food tech, food security. Japan has really mastered the art how to produce maximum from the minimum resources, and we understand that over here the resources is land, and there's a very minimum land, and they have to feed a population, and they have to keep up their reserves. So the food security is one, and we have met very interesting companies, producing food and oil and biodiesel out of worms even. There's one very interesting company. That's something that we want to take that, and also the process optimization. Health tech is another, geriatrics. So the more I explore, the more I venture into, the more I find out that there's an opportunity and that we can learn in GCC, we can learn from the companies and the startups from here. And the only thing that's stopping you is either your limitation to your brain, that your brain tells you not to venture further beyond the horizon. And that's basically it. You just need to be brave and be out and present what you've got. That's it.
Okay, thanks, Mahmod. I'm just looking here in the audience. I know a few of you. How many of you are company founders? Very good. So these are the folks who are basically have already had access to capital and will continue to need capital as they scale their businesses. And let's kind of look at this audience and see now, what can they do to access capital from GCC? Right? And this is really specific for Filmon in a sense, though Mahmod, I'm going to ask you to jump in a second. But targeting capital, what hints can we share with this audience?
Yeah, I think I touched upon it in the beginning of the conversation. So what I'm seeing during this week here in Fukuoka, that's very, very Dubai-like, right? And now, I would say, since a couple of years, Abu Dhabi-like as well. So in Abu Dhabi, we have a concept called Hub 71, which is basically a similar kind of event or place where you are assisted with setting up your business in Abu Dhabi, attracting capital as well from family offices and other investors. So we have obviously a number of venture capital funds, venture capital firms that would be more than happy obviously to sit down with you and hear your pitch. In Abu Dhabi, in the DIFC, which is the financial center of Dubai, we have something similar. We have called the Hive, which is for fintech focused. So there's a lot of support from the government to help entrepreneurs attract capital, but also to open up a bank account, get all your papers in order, an office, subsidies for hiring employees. So the government of the UAE in particular, I live in the UAE, so I'll focus on the UAE. They're very good at attracting entrepreneurs from all over the place to come to the UAE and to give them the support they need in the beginning of setting up a business in the UAE. So to attract capital, I think what you need to do is you need to come, first of all. The people in the UAE are very much about relationships, so they want to see you, they want to sit around the table, have a coffee or tea, and understand the person. I think it's important you understand as well that, does your product make sense? that's an answer obviously you only can answer. So understand the market, and does your product make sense to that market? I mean, I don't have to tell you, but there's enough innovation out there that you just doesn't make sense for the UAE if I look at the UAE. But it's also a very good country to base yourself and headquarter yourself from. You know, it's very central. The flights are amazing. You know, you get everywhere within 6 hours. So, but to answer the main question is, go and meet people. It's easier than it looks. It's a very small country in that sense, from a population with 10 million people. There's a financial center in Abu Dhabi, as I mentioned, and a financial center in Dubai. If you hang out in one of those hotels there, you will meet most of the investors.
So a little more on this one, right? About 1/3 of the audience raised their hands when I said, who's a founder? That's a good ratio here. When I go one step further, if I recall correctly, taxes are 0, right?
No.
Taxes are not 0.
No.
Used to be.
Corporate tax is 9%.
9%.
And we have VAT.
That's 1/4 of what we pay here. So there's a domicile thing, right? So now, if you think about where you're going to domicile your company, and you know, I love Japan. I love domiciling companies in Japan, but there are different angles to look at, right? So that's one that could be interesting, and I'm guessing there would be support systems on making those decisions.
Yes.
The second thing, and this is a really important one, because I guess it's a two-part question for both of you. Do you look at investments at early stage companies where it's still an ideation, and therefore it's not just about the founder knowing whether the product's going to fly or not, but also assisting them to do POCs and early adopter alignments so that they can fine-tune their offering? Or do you prefer to go in later stage where the founders they've achieved kind of some degree of product market fit, and they know where they're going and what they're going to be deploying?
Exactly.
So two-part question, you know, which can you support them? At what stage would you prefer to work with them? And I suppose, since you will choose one stage or the other or all, how would you support them?
I don't think a family office is the right partner for a seed company, right? I think we can definitely support in the sense of business development or help you or guide you into the right direction of where to go. But for us, we tend to invest. I think we're probably an exception. We come in early, but when I say early, it's probably Series A, when the product is proven, you have some form of revenue coming in. Most of the family offices that I interact with in the region, they tend to come in a bit later. The other way I think you can come to the market, or where a family office could make sense, is if it makes strategic sense to them, right? They have a portfolio company, and your product makes a lot of sense to one of those portfolio companies within their portfolio, then obviously they'll incubate you under their portfolio company.
And that's where Mahmod comes in.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a very good question. And I want to emphasize on something, that investment is not only financial. When someone holds your finger, they're investing their time, they're investing their sweat, and they have trust in you. I'll tell you, as a startup, we are not investing into a product. Don't think that there are so many products are outside. As an investor, the only reason I'm giving you my money is trust and belief in a person. There is a human touch. So we are investing in a human. We are investing in a founder. We are investing in someone who is very brave. By the way, entrepreneurs are brave. They're far braver than I am. I'm working as a full-time employee. Entrepreneur has left his or her comfort zone, and they've gone out into the market, gone out into the bazaars, which are, by the way, they're ruthless, but they stood their ground. So firstly, hats off to the entrepreneurs. Now, we invest time, and I don't want to make it very general, but I want to give a specific examples. One of the startups is here, sitting here, that we held their finger and took them around, and it's a travel and tourism company. It's already here from Japan, and we do help them, and we will still going to help them. Another company out of Finland, University of Finland, University of Helsinki, there's a beautiful product they have, and then they wanted to venture into ADNOC. Next to impossible to be approved supplier to bid for contracts in ADNOC. We gave them the Kanoo umbrella, Kanoo Energy umbrella. They took our umbrella and they went and they did a very successful paid POC. And after that, their valuation was quadruple. So please don't understand the investment is just financially. Just imagine you have a very strong reference list and a proven product in more than 2 markets. That is for your next evaluation.
So I do want to call out, Mahmod, that what you just showed, which is understanding and respect for the choices founders have made, the difficult choices, right? And I think it's just refreshing to see an investor and potentially a go-to-market partner who understands that, because typically that doesn't happen. So a kind of a call out to that. So a reminder, just kind of, because we don't have too much time, I do want to start bringing some of the thoughts together, right? So when you want to talk to these 2 gentlemen, please come to them with an idea, a platform, a story where your product market fit has been to some degree defined. I think that's the first thing. The second thing is there are elements in their geographies, that's GCC and beyond, where they can help you fine-tune to the market. I think my third very important takeaway is, hey guys, it's about the people, right? So yes, you can have a great idea, you can have great product market fit, but if the chemistry does not gel, your conversation is not going to last too long. So these are the 3 things I've kind of taken away for the moment. In our very limited time that we have left, I'd like to pass the mic back to the 2 of you. What else should we be looking at other than these 3 things that I've just summarized?
Sure, I can take it. Look, first thing, there's something I always look at, unfair advantage. Japanese companies have unfair advantage. The Japanese brand made in Japan is there. It's well known, well recognized, well respected. Take maximum advantage of it. Don't be shy. Go outside, make yourself visible, venture out, travel, see the world, explore, and represent yourself. That's number 1. Number 2 is number 2 point. It's rather important in a way that the relationship of UAE and Japan is getting stronger by minute. Not many people know that when UAE wanted to venture into space sciences, the first rocket was launched from a launch pad in Hokkaido. That was a very honorable thing. Dubai is known for horse racing. The royal family has decided to keep a stable in Hokkaido as well. And at the same time, Mubadala has invested into 1.8 gigawatts renewable energy. So there is a lot of money flowing in. There's a non-oil trade that has exceeded hundreds of billions, tens of billions, not 100, but tens of billions of dollars. You have unfair advantage. Make the best out of it. Just go there yourself. I think the technology exhibition, GTEX, is coming up. Go there, visit. Don't be shy. And I always want to use this word. Try to remove the word hazukashi for some time. Be there, be brave.
Thanks, Mahmod. Filmon.
Yeah, I think, look, I mean, if I put myself in an entrepreneur's shoes, I would say, study the market before you come. Don't waste your time. I mean, your time is obviously very, very limited. You're trying to build a business. And if the market doesn't make sense, then, it doesn't make sense. If it does, make sure you don't waste your money and your time again on attending the wrong type of events. So ask people who are locally, who've been there for years, investors, be it other entrepreneurs, what type of events to attend, what kind of investors to speak to. There's a lot of, as we like to call them, fake family offices, right? Guys that pretend to be family offices and you find out after a year that you've been talking to these guys and then there's no money. It's basically an advisor or a consultancy firm. That would be a waste of your time. So I think it would be very important that And Dubai, the people who live in Dubai, it's predominantly an expat community. So there's, in the UAE, we're 1 million local people, 9 million expats, right? So if you come to a place like Dubai, people are super friendly. They're always happy to meet and guide people with the right intentions. So make sure you do your homework before you come. Don't waste your time and don't waste, in particular, money. That I would say.
All right, cool. Just making sure I got that right. 9-to-1 ratio of expats to local. So, I mean, my observation there is that's an amazing ecosystem to tap into, right? Because you have the whole world right there, and you have access to the world in an area that you could probably drive end to end in 4 or 5 hours, or take a 1-hour flight in any direction. So the whole world is right there for you to access, whether it's a POC, whether it's go-to-market, whether it's market testing, or perhaps even extended access to capital. So I think in summary, and I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. Am I allowed to do this? I want to just open it up. Does anybody have a burning question you want to ask? Does anybody have a burning question, a great question you want to ask? It's a very rare opportunity because I have not seen in any of the other stages in Ramen Tech that it's been opened up to the audience.
Take the opportunity, Mr. Adani doesn't get many.
Yes, a question.
To be honest, it's a comment, not question. أهلا بكم مرحبا في Fukuoka. I'm originally Egyptian and I'm living in Fukuoka. My company is here. And I usually lecturing for Japanese companies to have the opportunity to go to Middle East, especially GCC, especially United Arab Emirates. It's not only about population, it's not only about capital, it's about opportunity to be the hub of global and Middle East region and the markets. And as mentioned here, even I support advise startups in Japan to have accelerator and incubators in Dubai also to find venture capitals there. So I confirm this information, and really it's a huge opportunity, as Mahmoud mentioned now, that Japan have unfair advantage, that made in Japan is a huge opportunity and advantage for Japanese companies to go Middle East. And thank you for attending, and thank you to exist in Japan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing your observation. We've run out of time, but I'm just going to do a quick summary, right? So if you are interested in access to capital from these two gentlemen and knowledge, have your product market fit right. Your check size you should be asking for. We didn't talk about numbers, but I think it's a Series A-ish check size. Mahmod, did you want to say something on that? No. Okay. Series A-ish. Take advantage of your Japan unfair advantage, right? I use the word advantage twice in that sentence. So, please make good use of it. And then finally, the validation we heard from the gentleman in the audience. It's a genuine place to go. I think my own comment, the world is right there. You have a 9-to-1 ratio, which is fantastic, between the world and the local population. So it sounds like, if your company's at the right stage and your product's at the right stage, you need to be talking to the two gentlemen. I think you can stick around a little bit after this. Would that be okay? And with that, I would like to thank Filmon and Mahmod for being part of this panel. Thanks, guys. Show them your appreciation.